Hi friends, my name's Naomi. Welcome back to my channel. So, if you can hear it in my voice a little bit, I am sick. If you didn't catch it during my December TBR, I have COVID right now. So this is the second video that I'm filming today whilst having COVID. I feel totally fine. The only reason why I took a test, because I was really sick during the weekend, and I tested originally, but it was negative. And the only reason why I tested again is because I can't really taste things. So that's why I tested, and then I tested positive. So here we are filming videos. So I guess getting sick was the only chance that I was gonna get to film. So here we are. And today I wanted to share some recommendations. I feel like I haven't really done a recommendations type video in a while, and I wanted to recommend some books to read in winter time. So some of these books are set during winter, some of them just gives the vibes of winter time. Some of these books I honestly just read in winter and I have that season like attached to it, so that's like the only correlation. But yeah, I have 10 book recommendations of books that you should read during winter time, and yeah, I hope that you enjoy. I have a lot of different genres, so there'll be something here for you. The first book recommendation that I have is The Gracier by Kim Leggett. If you haven't read this, please do. And this is sort of a YA dystopian type of book. I would compare this to like The Hunger Games and The Handmaid's Tale. So basically in this little county, it's called Garner. Yes, Garner County. All girls are believed to have like magic. And then on their 16th year, so the year of their 16th birthday, they're all banished for a whole year into like the woods. So, and they're not allowed to come back for a whole year. So in this book, you see all of these women surviving out there, and all of the stuff about the magic that supposedly they have. And obviously it's through a whole year, so like there's all of these elements out in the wild, and then there's a huge part of the book where it's like wintertime and it's snowing and it's horrible. I just recently watched Yellow Jackets with Christina Ricci, and this is not really like that, but just like that aspect of all of these women out in the wild surviving, it's kind of similar. If you watch Yellow Jackets and you want to read something like that, I definitely recommend this book. I adore this book. This is one of my favorite books of all time. So, The Gracier. The next book recommendation that I have is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I read this in December of last year, and I just really feel like this is kind of like a wintry vibes type of thing, and also like a really good December read because it's kind of a reflection on life, and usually like at the end of the year and with the new year coming, I just feel like this is a really good read. And basically this book follows, I believe her name is Nora. Yes, her name is Nora, and basically she's kind of between life and death, and in between life and death there's this library, the Midnight Library, and in this library every book it's like a different version of her life if she had made a different decision. So you get to read about all of these different lives if she had just made like really tiny decisions throughout her whole life, and it's just really, it was a really powerful read for me. I know that this book is kind of controversial, not everyone thinks it's a really good depiction of mental health, but I really enjoyed it for the reflection of life and all of that. So this is my another recommendation. The next couple of recommendations are middle grade, and the first middle grade that I want to recommend is The School for Good and Evil by, I think it's Saman Chainani. I know that I own this book, I literally just can't find it, and I'm thinking if I let anyone borrow it, but I really can't remember. This book follows these two young girls whose names I'm like totally forgetting right now, but basically they live in this little village, and there's like this rumor of this man that comes every year and it kidnaps two kids, and it sends them to the School for Good and Evil. And basically the School for Good and Evil, the School for Good kind of teaches you how to be a princess and how to be like a knight in shining armor, and then the School for Evil teaches you how to be like the villain of the story. And all of these stories like Snow White and Cinderella, they're true in this world, and they were all basically trained through this school. I just feel like middle grade is just really perfect for winter time. So this one is one of my favorite middle grades. I did read the second book, but I haven't really continued the series after that. And I did watch the TV show, and it's really fun and family friendly, and I just think it would be great to read this during the winter time and then also watch it. So yeah. The next middle grade that I have is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. Love this book too. This is one of my favorites did I read it this year? If I read it last year, this was one of my favorite books of last year. If I read it this year, spoiler, is one of my favorite books of the year. But this one basically follows this small village, and basically I believe it's every year, the people of this little village kind of give as an offering, they kind of sacrifice a child every year, because they believe there is this old witch in the woods that basically this is what she needs in order to like stay away from them, and she doesn't bother them. So basically every year they offer up a child, but little did you know that we see the point of view of the old lady in this book, and she is confused as to why these people are just abandoning children in the woods every year. So basically she takes, the main girl in this book is obviously the offering from one of the years, and the old lady accidentally feeds her moonlight, which gives her powers. And this was just a really cute story, and I really loved it, and it's really wintry, and it's just all of the cozy vibes. So okay, so I thought this was a middle grade, but I just read the back of it because I didn't really know much about this, and that is A Winter's Promise by Christelle Davos. And I was reading the back of this, and it doesn't seem like this is a middle grade. So basically on the back, it says that it follows this woman, or this girl, I don't really know. This girl, her name is Ophelia, and she has the talent of seeing into an object's past and the ability to travel through mirrors. And then one day, her hand is promised in marriage to this man who is living a dangerous game, and Ophelia has to navigate the lies and machinations of her fiance's clan in order to survive. So honestly, I thought this was a middle grade this whole time, and it may not be. I've heard a lot about this book, and it's just obviously A Winter's Promise is literally perfect for winter, but I don't know if this is middle grade, to be honest with you. Alright, the next couple of books I have are mystery and thrillers. So the first one that I have is The Silent Patient by Alice Michaelides. I really like this book. I did guess like the big twist in this book, so it wasn't like an all-time favorite, but I really enjoyed it. And basically this one follows our main character, and I believe he is a therapist from what I remember, and he's basically trying to get this woman to talk. And this woman, she's in like a psychiatric facility, and basically one day she shot her husband in the face, and then she never spoke again. So our main character therapist is basically trying to like sit down with her and get her to talk. So yeah, I really enjoyed this story. I feel like it's more of like, it's not cozy mystery, but I don't know why I get like those cozy wintry vibes from this one. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to recommend it. The next one that I have is Rock Paper Sisters by Alice Finney. Also love this book. Obviously it wouldn't be here if I didn't love these books. They wouldn't be here on this recommendations video. As you can see on the cover, it's very wintry, and this one's basically about this married couple that's kind of struggling, and the woman wins like this Airbnb stay at this like cabin, but it's kind of like a church in the middle of nowhere. And then once they get there, they kind of start like questioning like, wait, how did we win this? Like, what is really going on? And then the husband has face blindness, which is a really big thing in this book. And yeah, it's kind of like an isolated mystery thriller, kind of domestic thriller-ish book. And obviously because of the cover and like just the wintry vibes in the book and it being isolated and everything, I just thought it would be a really good winter read. The next mystery thriller that I have is No Exit by Taylor Adams. Again, this is also set during like a winter storm, so that's why it's giving me winter vibes. But this one follows this woman who is traveling across the country during a winter storm to go see her mother. I don't remember if her mother's like dying or in the hospital or something. It's something like that, along those lines. And she has to stop at like a rest stop because there's obviously a winter storm and there are already people there stranded. And at one point during the night, she goes out to try to get cell service, and she sees in one of the back of the cars that there is a cage and there is a child in it. So one of the other people at the rest stop had kidnapped a kid. This book is set in like 24 hours, so it's a really fast-paced book. Very isolated setting also because of the winter storm, and it's just a really, really good one. Alrighty, the last two books that I have are fantasy. First up, I have Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Like I said, this is a fantasy book. The main character's name is Miriam, and I just really adored this book. This book has really strong female characters that I love to read about, and this one is like a Rumpelstiltskin fairy tale retelling, so really love that. And then just like all the village and winter vibes are in this book, very like cottage and I don't know, just old-timey type of winter book. I don't know, I really love this book, and it's really, really winter vibes if you're looking for fantasy like that. This one's the one. And the last fantasy book that I have is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This one is fantasy, I would say horror, and also dark academia, which I think it's why it gives me the winter vibes the most, the dark academia aspect. And this book follows Alex Stern, and basically Alex Stern has had a really rough childhood and life in general. She's very involved in like the drug scene, and she is a sole survivor of a mass murder. And basically one day at her hospital bedside, she's pretty much offered like a full ride to Yale, and she's not really like the very smart girl that would get something like that offered to her. So the reason why is because she can see ghosts, and Yale has like these secret societies, and these secret societies need to be protected. So basically they're giving her this full ride so she can kind of tell them if there are ghosts on campus and stuff. And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with secret societies and magic and all of these dark forces, and it's really wintry to me, I believe, because of the dark academia aspect of it. It just gives me those vibes. So yeah, alrighty, I think those are all the videos that I can film today because I am feeling out of breath as I'm just sitting here talking, so I'm gonna go lay down. But I hope that you all enjoyed those book recommendations for wintry reads, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.